So hi, I'm Stina Wen, and today is gonna be the last day of my exhibition. I know lots of people want to come, but they could not come for some reasons. So today I think I can give you guys a tour. Let's come in. I did spread out 3 different versions of postcard around the campus. I think the purple one's the most popular one because they are like gone. I just refilled them. So maybe this piece is the one that people like the best. And this is my cube bookmark and my business card. And I have a notebook here that people can leave their comments to me. Let's start from the first room. So this is the first room on the right side. This is my artist statement. It shows like where my inspiration comes from and what kind of interactions I want to create between my piece and wearer and viewer. And also it explains how I define the serendipity and explains what kind of material I'm using. So it's concrete. Let's start from here. So lots of people ask me, is it leather? But as you know, it's actually concrete. So they will feel surprised because I know it looks like concrete. It looks like fabric, but it actually touches hard. Hope you can see the close-up details. I do want to create this kind of contrast after people realize what material it is. And this one, I combined it with sterling silver. This is my favorite, the crease. So for my earlier collection, I used concrete to mimic this kind of leather-like texture and feeling. So I want people to have a surprise, like, wow, this is concrete, but it looks like the leather. But after that, I'm not satisfied only to make it look soft. I'm thinking maybe, what if I can make the concrete actually touch soft? So during the reception night, there's one question that lots of people ask, like why you choose concrete to be your material, to do your jewelry. So I do want to share this story to you. So I get my bachelor degree in UGA, University of Georgia, in Jewelry and Metalworks program. So during my undergrad study, I mainly work with the traditional materials and traditional metalworks technique. But after I came to SCAD, I started to get a chance to explore a bunch of alternative materials like wood, resin, concrete, fibers, etc. After working with so many different kinds of materials, I start to gradually narrow down to concrete because I find that's the one that I'm more interested in, and also I get more emotional connection with, because there's a story that I want to share to you guys too. When I was a kid, I lived with my parents and there's a garden in front of our house. Once I'm gonna make a stairs in our garden with my parents. So my mom just bought a bag of concrete and we just mixed add the sand, add the water into it, and then we just mix the concrete and apply them. Before it dries, I just put my fingerprint on it and my fingerprint left on the concrete. So since then, I feel so interested in doing the material of concrete. And that's what made me remind of the story with my parents. I just realized that I forget to put my earrings on, but now I get it. Okay, let's back to the show. So I would say these are my earlier collection, and it's also kind of my start point. After this series, I think maybe I'm not satisfying to make it only look soft. I want it to actually touch soft. Then I start to do the research and create an questionnaire. What kind of properties concrete is? So people usually say it's hard, it's in gray color, it feels cold, and it's austere. So I kind of pick the opposite side of the concrete's property. So I can make it, what if I can make it colorful, I can make it shapeable, I can make it transparent, I can make it soft. I just do the brainstorming at that point because I never think this could happen. But once, I accidentally dropped a silicone into my concrete sample. And the second day, it gets some surprise result. The texture of concrete looks slightly different. And once I touch it, I feel a little bit soft. So maybe that's what I want. So after this point, I start to focus on this material investigation. I start to test like what kind of silicone and what kind of concrete I can add to mix the result that I want. So after 2 years experimentations, since the COVID happened, I moved everything from the studio to my home and I started to do my own experimentations at home. But I would say nearly 2 years experimentations, I get what I want. So these earrings are my concrete noodle. That's what people call. Same material as my earrings today. So I kind of make it really soft that people will not think this is concrete. It's fun to touch it too. But sometimes I would think maybe I go too far from concrete because this one has more ratio of the silicone, so people will not think this is concrete. So I decided to go back a little bit. And in this convergence collection, I start to make the gradient change of the ratios between concrete and silicone. This is a ring. So you can tell from this brooch, it's getting from 100% concrete and gradually change the ratio and it becomes soft here. This brooch, I crochet the materials in the center, not crochet, weaving. And this one is also changed from hard to soft. And there are also 2 rings in the corner. So now let's move to the second room. I would say accidents or serendipity always happened as the turning points during my studio practice. So I decided to name it as Serendipity for my exhibition. But besides that, I also want my audience, the viewers or wearers, to find their own serendipities in my pieces. This is the first serendipity ring I made. This is soft, like people can press it. And once people press down, you can see there's a stone inside. And the stone can only be seen once you press it down. This is another brooch called Oops, because this is soft. Whenever people press it, they will like, oops. This ring is also soft because there's a memory foam inside, so you can feel how soft it is. I just can't stop playing it. Sometimes I create my piece intuitively, and sometimes I will get inspirations from everything around me, like in my daily life. So maybe people will see this looks like a sushi, that one looks like a bread, but there's no right and wrong answer. It's up to you. It's up to the audience understanding. This wall is my weave-through collection. So besides making jewelry, I'm also interested in making fiberworks, like crochet. So that's where my inspiration comes from for this collection. What if I'm not crocheting yarn anymore? What if I crochet concrete? After lots of failed experimentations, I figured out there's one way that I can do it. So I can create this kind of crochet form by using the clay. And then I make the mold out of the clay. Then I cast my concrete into the mold. And I can create this kind of gradient too with this method. So this is from hard to soft. And for this piece, it's interesting too because you can like braid their hair. These 2 pieces has more complex knot shape. So I decided to do the 3D print first, then made the mold out of it. This is my favorite. And you can see how it gets from solid color to transparent. And this is soft as well. This piece is called coagulated time. It could be a commercial piece that you can wear in your daily life. And once you press it, it will slowly goes up. So it makes me feel like it's coagulating the time. This one, I feel like when I'm wearing it, it feels like there's a bird standing on my fingers. And this one called Flutter. It's like flying. Besides contemporary jewelry, you can still see some paintings that I created by using concrete and silicone. There are always some leftover materials when I'm creating my jewelry piece, so I usually apply them on the canvas that's set next to my bench. Then I suddenly find the canvas are also attractive too, because it reminds me of the Jackson Pollock. So I would say this is also an art expressionism for my artistic practice too. While you are working through the room, you might notice that there is a QR code next to each piece on their label. If you're curious about what it looks like when you touch it, you can scan this QR code to see the video. I know it must be crowded during the opening reception, so in case you didn't see it, I put a hint in this corner. Don't you want to scan the QR code? I know people may not satisfy only seeing the video, so I do prepare something so you can actually touch it. If you come to my exhibition, you can physically touch it, but now I'm gonna touch it for you. You can hear the sound. Besides all my jewelries, there is one more thing that I want to share with you. So it's this kind of concrete ghost table. So this is the tour of my exhibition, and thank you so much for watching this video.